Hello, teachers and classmates. My name is Sarah, and today I'm presenting the timeline of our approaches and methods for English teaching. And thank you so much for being here. Let's start with the presentation. And here I'm going to start with a quote that I found, and it says, "The more that you read, the more things you know, and the more that you learn, the more places you'll go." Another quote is education is one thing no one can take away from you. And that's a real testimony of myself. That I'm here. And I had a job full time English show and rehearsing exercise in my English 10 years ago that I was learning English. So let's start with the presentation. Okay. How did the approaches or methods originate? Um, this is the first question to answer. In the earliest European, there were some written accounts of language um, that in the 5th century there was just writing, and they could only write and just translate to Latin and Greek language. So this was the first method, was grammar and translation method. This was the first method that was implemented by the Romans at that time. So in the grammar translation method, it was for a long tradition of reading Latin and Greek learned text. So they translated elective text and books. So they just need to translate to Latin and Greek language. Okay, let's go and continue with the second one. What are the approaches or methods in language teaching? What are they? Okay, let's continue. Okay. Methods in approach. Let's start with the 1800 here. And the first one was grammar and translation method. There was the first method as the grammar translation method. It became really dominant as a dominant teaching method because they just translated. That was involved one of the historical interest in learning writing and Latin and Greek at that time. But late, and with the second one in the 1900s, he was the direct method. Why? Because they needed people to speak, not just to translate or to understand. They needed to people to speak English. Like they were just in the first level, level one. They needed people like friends out Europe to learn French, Italian, German, and English, for example. They had level one speech, and they needed oral communication skills. So they needed to communicate, to try to make people to speak, to interact with others, so to have many other language skills as the speaking. So it became a great importance at that time. Let's go with the next one. In the 1940s and 1960s, and there was the audiolingual method. The audiolingual method was developed and it was recorded in some patterns and language patterns. It was focused especially on the phonetical, like the sound, and the word construction as grammar. Um, and as well on developing oral skills. Let's go also with the 1970s, and it was the silent wave. You know, the silent wave was like the teacher don't talk, it's just and the classmates, just the students can talk to each other. In the 1970s, that's just a period. Then the 1965 to 1980, it was the total physical response as the interact with all the classmates and interactions with other people. And the last one but not least, it was 1983. Natural approach was the last method or methods and approach that was implemented. What is the importance of approaches and methods in ESL teaching? What is it? Let's start with what is an approach. An approach is a way of looking at teaching and learning. Underlying any language teaching approach is a theoretical view of what language is and how it can be learned. As these sets, they based on many methods to learn, to help the learners learn. An approach gives the rise to methods, gives the weight of teaching something. An approach is just classroom activities or techniques to help learners learn. As many classmates when you were trying to speak English, some others like to speak to themselves. Um, some others not, that they like to try to interact with others. Some others learn just by practicing themselves, or just to watch movies, reading books. I had a partner that also learned speak. She learns to speak English by herself just with video games, and I said, "Wow, that's something amazing. That's how people learn." Teachers also select techniques from various approaches according to the different needs of their learners. Um, as a testimony, myself, I can tell that I was a really shy person. In my teacher, when I was in the first year of high school, I got a scholarship, and it was really hard for me to express myself in English. And she did like everything that I can be speaking at the end of the year, so I can be at the same level than my peers, because that was really difficult for me. And I can say I really learned to speak just by trying to express myself by reading books and trying to tell them what I understood from them. So that's something that was really amazing. Okay, let's go and move to the next one. Which are the most used methods in English teaching? The communicative, is known to be the most effective and commonly used language teaching method. Because it mainly focused on communicate by interaction and also to know to go and complete like the target. What is the objective of this day and this class? So we are going to complete this and we are going to interact. Also with the authentic materials, there are many different books. So different books that are really good to learn English. Okay, let's go to the task-based teaching. It's a method which implements the principles of the communicative approach. This it is developed on fluency and students' confidence. In task-based teaching, TBLL classroom, the teacher's roles consist in guiding the learners through instructions and feedback to perform the tasks in a stress-free environment. So this is how the students will learn. Also, the learning process can go through three phases: the pre-task phase, the doing of the task, and the post-task phase. These three phases form a task cycle, and the teacher's roles may change from phase to phase. Mhm. So let's go with the next one, competency-based approach. CBA has been developed and applied in the United States. To immigrants and refugees to learn English as a second language and life skills simultaneously. It is also used in vocational training. In other words, the CBA aims at creating opportunities for language learners to acquire life coping skills while developing the language, learn to use better to perform the skills. Okay, so let's go. This is the references that I was based on, and thank you so much for your attention. And thank you. Hope you have a great week. Goodbye.